Hey guys, welcome back to Cruise Blog. It's Allie, and today we're going to be sharing 7 reasons that you should consider declining a cruise ship cabin upgrade. Let's get into it. Sometimes you may be presented with the opportunity to upgrade your cruise ship cabin. At first thought, why wouldn't you want to move from an interior cabin to an ocean view or from a balcony to a suite? While some cruise lines will simply email you an offer, others like Royal Caribbean allow you to place a bid for a nicer cabin. Usually you will pay less for a nicer stateroom than you would if you were to book it outright. If you worked with a travel agent, they will often inform you of any of these available offers. In fact, I recently had my travel agent email me an offer for an upcoming sailing on board Carnival Celebration, and I did not even have to check for the upgrades myself. Saving hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars on a spacious suite sounds like a dream, right? Well, there are a few reasons that you might want to consider declining a cruise ship cabin upgrade. First, you'll have to pay more money. For those on a budget, it might be unwise to spend money on a cruise ship cabin upgrade. While it might seem like a deal to pay $200 per person to upgrade to a suite, that could easily put you out an extra $400 if you're traveling with just more than one person. There are other ways that you can allocate that money to make the most out of your cruise. You can, for instance, use that to help cover transportation costs to the cruise port. You can book a couple of shore excursions, or you can even try out a specialty dining restaurant on board. You could put that money towards another cruise even if you wanted. How much time are you planning on spending in your cabin anyway? That's something that you'll definitely want to consider. Next, you'll be unable to choose your cabin's location. What you decide to be the best room on a cruise ship might be someone else's least favorite. It really comes down to preference, which is why so many cruisers love being able to choose their stateroom's location when booking. Do you want to be close to the youth clubs? What about the adults-only deck? Dreaming of waking up each morning to a view of the ship's wake, maybe? Well, when you upgrade your cruise ship cabin, you give up any control you have of your location. The cruise line will choose the specific cabin that's assigned to you, and in short, it's kind of like booking a guaranteed stateroom. If you're worried about being located near a noisy public venue or at the very back of the ship, you will want to decline that upgrade. Some people do not have much of a preference, especially if they have the opportunity to stay in a nicer cabin for a very cheap price. It's just important to be aware that you'll not be able to choose that specific stateroom that you'll be staying in. Another thing to consider is if you booked 2 staterooms. Rather than trying to cram everybody into a single cabin, some families opt to book 2 staterooms in order to have more space and an extra bathroom. If you book early enough, you might even be able to snag adjoining rooms. Even if the rooms themselves are not connected through the inside, you might be able to open the divider on the balcony, making it easier to access one room from the other. Plus, this will make your veranda feel akin to a larger suite balcony. If, however, you upgrade one of your cabins, there's no guarantee that it will be close to the other room that you've already booked. This is an important factor to consider, especially for families if you are traveling with younger children. You would not want to have one room be midship on deck 8 and the other on the very front of the ship on deck 10. Another consideration is if you are happy with your stateroom. By doing research before booking your stateroom, you may be able to snag a special cabin that's in high demand. And if you choose an upgrade, you will lose this selection. Maybe you booked an inside cabin that features a window overlooking the interior of the ship, or you have a virtual balcony. For those interested in a balcony, you may have a preference for view. Do you want a room that's centrally located on the ship or the starboard side of the ship? Or would you prefer an aft cabin that looks over the ship's wake? Some staterooms even have extended balconies that offer more outdoor space too. If you were able to score a room that you're content with, then you don't really need to accept an upgrade offer. Another consideration is that upgrades are completely random. Let's say the difference between an interior and a balcony is $300 per person at the time of booking, and you decide to go with the interior room with the hopes of upgrading to another cabin for less money. While you might think that you can score a balcony for less when you get closer to the sail date, there's no guarantee that there will be an offer available, especially if you're sailing during peak season or over a holiday when cruise ships are more likely to book up well in advance. If you're booked on a cruise line that accepts bids, you do not know what the price will automatically be accepted. This means that you could place a bid higher than the minimum and still not win that upgrade. For those who do not want to feel like they have to deal with the uncertainty of a cruise cabin upgrade, book the room that you'll be happiest with from the beginning. Another consideration is you might have to pay more in gratuities. The daily gratuity rate for those in a standard cabin, which is an interior view, ocean view, or a balcony room, is less than those staying in a suite. If you elect to upgrade to a suite, you'll be subject to paying a higher rate. On Royal Caribbean, for instance, the daily service charge for a standard room is $16 per person per day, while those in the suite will have to pay $18.50 per person per day. Similarly, Carnival charges $16 per person per day in a standard room and $18 per person per day for suite guests. You'll need to keep this in mind if you want to upgrade to a suite. For a 7-night cruise, this means paying an additional $17.50 in gratuities if sailing on Royal Caribbean and $14 on Carnival. Don't forget that if you happen to get a butler, you might want to tip them extra too. Another reason you'll want to consider is that you might end up loving the higher category cabin. Let's say that you booked an ocean view room and you scored an incredible upgrade to a suite. What happens if you fall in love with that suite experience? From priority boarding to spacious cabins, personal butlers, and private sun decks, you may not ever want to go back to cruising in a standard cabin. These, however, cost a premium when booked outright. You might have saved up for a while in order to be able to justify spending that much on a cabin at once. This means that you'll end up being able to cruise less as well. So are cruise ship cabin upgrades a good deal? Only you can decide that. Some may think that spending an extra $1,000 on a nicer stateroom is well worth it, while others would rather allocate that money elsewhere. It comes down to how much money you're willing to spend on your accommodations. Unlike hotels, you should know that complimentary cabin upgrades are extremely rare. If, however, you want a chance of receiving an upgrade without paying anything extra, you should consider booking a guaranteed room. While nothing's certain, you are promised a room in at least the category that you've booked, meaning that if you select an Ocean View Guarantee, you will not be assigned an interior room, and there's always that slight chance that you could get a balcony. Moreover, cruise lines will often have promotions that advertise a free cabin upgrade. When cabin upgrades are offered as a booking perk, it will either be for a better room within the selected category or from one category to another, like from an interior stateroom to one that has a view of the ocean. At the end of the day, a cabin's a cabin, and there's so much to do and see elsewhere on the ship anyway. All right, everybody, that's all we have for today. Comment below if you prefer to bid on upgrading your cabin or if you are content with the stateroom that you have booked. Be sure to like and subscribe to Cruise Blog so you can be notified every time we have a new video. Until next time, everybody, happy cruising.